Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ZNT Wrestling Show number 163, 4-year anniversary of the ZNT Wrestling Show. Tomas, it's a very special show today because we had a pay-per-view this morning. It's a repeat of the pay-per-view that Triple H started his creative tenure on, Clash at the Castle. It's in Scotland this time around. First of all, how are you doing, and what were your overall thoughts on the show?
I'm doing great. I woke up this morning, saw our memories, and it is to the day, the 4-year anniversary that we started the ZNT Wrestling Show. I'll never forget seeing your NXT in your house review. It was during the pandemic, and I remember hitting you up and going like, can I do this with you? And the rest is history. We've been reviewing every single WWE pay-per-view since then. We've done a retrospective on our childhood pay-per-views. We've done old school pay-per-views. We've done WCW pay-per-views. We've done AEW pay-per-views. Here we are. It's been a ride. It's been so much fun. We do this for fun. We like talking about wrestling. It's been a great time. There was another point I wanted to bring up, and I totally forgot. Oh, yeah. In our 4-year tenure, we have only missed one pay-per-view, and I have not been present for only one review. I think it was an NXT review, and I saw you and Chris doing it, and I was listening to it going, fuck, I wish I was in there. I forgot why I missed it.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. The train does not stop rolling, and it's not going to stop rolling here because I thought this was a very good show.
It was a great show.
King of the Ring. I don't think crowd-wise it was better than France, but Scotland really brought it. I thought the Scotland crowd was great, but I think France had more energy, and I think they were louder.
So, shout out to my friend Ren Geekness on YouTube. Everybody who's watching, please go subscribe to him. If you end up watching this, my friend, how are you? He was actually in attendance for this show, and I was kind of talking to him about this, and he said, oh yeah, my voice is already tired because he was at SmackDown last night as well, and this was his very first pay-per-view event ever attending live, so I'm very happy that he got to experience this. But he was also saying, listen, we in Scotland, we are ready to basically, we're ready to be loud, and hopefully we're louder than France. Like, they wanted to be louder than France. You guys brought it tonight.
They were pretty freaking loud, though. They were pretty energetic. And you know what? You bring up a good point about the SmackDown thing, because I realize this is the 3rd international pay-per-view in a row with King of the Ring and Backlash. And Triple H seems to have his formula down. He has where the shows are going to be. It's very smart to have the SmackDown there prior so they don't have to tape it. They don't have to worry about putting on a lackluster show before the pay-per-view. All the wrestlers who are going to be there are already there. There's no worry about travel or stuff like that. Because let me tell you, I remember I was in attendance for a Monday Night Raw a couple years ago where they were heading into Crown Jewel, I think it was, in Saudi Arabia. So we usually get, if you've been to a live Raw or SmackDown, you get a little treat for the live audience, a post-match show. And we were sitting there waiting, and they were already ushering us out because we were almost ringside. And I was like, nope, all the wrestlers got to go to Saudi Arabia. So it's good that they don't got to worry about that anymore. Triple H just has this down to a science, and it's really good. The business is booming. WWE is booming, and their train is not going to stop rolling as well. Sorry to everybody internationally, but let's just say we're very thankful that Money in the Bank and SummerSlam are going to be at standard times for us. We're so glad everybody in France, Saudi Arabia, Perth, Scotland got to watch these shows at a normal time because Lord knows for years and years and years, they've had to be the ones that get up at 5 a.m. They've had the ones to, schedule their weekends around these pay-per-views. But call me a little selfish, but I'm excited that Money in the Bank is going to be in Toronto.
Well, enjoy it while we can because we got Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and then right after that, we're right back on that train because they're going to Germany. They're going to Germany.
I gotta see what the time zone in Germany is going to be. But no, this was a very enjoyable show. I thought it was very good. I'm getting used to the 5-match formula. I feel like I was looking at the clock as the main event ended. I was like, damn, they got this pay-per-view down to a science. It was exactly 3 hours long. So it did not overstay its welcome, but we got plenty, and I mean plenty of action tonight.
Yeah, just under 3 hours if you're not counting the awesome highlight packages that they've been putting together ever since Triple H became the man in charge. But yeah, 5-match card. We are in the OVO Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland, the very first Scottish PLE, if you're whatever you want to call it these days. We open up. Go ahead.
11,000 in attendance.
Yeah.
It'd be more.
Yeah, well, the OVO Hydro, to my knowledge, is a pretty small venue.
Okay.
It looked like a much smaller venue than the arena they were in France. It looks like a much smaller venue than a lot of pay-per-views over here in the States, or a lot of
Yeah, I
arenas in the
think
States rather.
the one they did in Wales, that was a stadium. So this was
Yep.
an arena show, which is great. Not every pay-per-view has to be in a stadium. I'm still in the very biased mindset of WrestleMania is special because it's in a stadium, and now they're adding more stadium shows, and I was scared that was going to water it down, but thankfully it hasn't. But no, this was really good. The crowd really brought it. And I thought this was very solid.
Yeah, this was a fantastic pay-per-view. I thought it was better than King of the Ring for sure. As we go through this card, we're going to decide right now if it was better than Backlash. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this show. Let us know what you thought, what your favorite match was. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up as well if you don't mind. We're on the march to 2,000 subscribers on this channel. I would love you guys to join us. But what we have first... It's like John Cena said it at Survivor Series 2003. The main event is on first. I Quit match for the WWE. Yeah, I know what I said. I Quit match for the undisputed WWE Championship. American Nightmare Cody Rhodes defending once again against the phenomenal AJ Styles. Let's talk about how we got here, my friend, because this has been such a huge tangled mess since the Backlash match. AJ Styles has been on a downward slump ever since he lost to Cody Rhodes. He was eliminated first round of the King of the Ring tournament, losing in a great match to Randy Orton. And there was an episode of SmackDown where AJ just walks right into Nick Aldis's office, and he basically is very transparent. He's like, look, you got to give me one more shot. And Nick Aldis is like, sorry, you got to get to the back of the line. I'm not doing a British accent right now because it's not going to go well. But Nick Aldis basically says, with all due respect, you lost to Cody already, and you got to earn your way back. And AJ looks him dead in the face, and he's like, I don't have much time left. I need another shot. Which, honestly, with AJ being one of my favorites of all time, even that hit me really deep. Because rumors have been circulating, Tomas, that AJ was contemplating retirement. And lo and behold, it adds a lot of realism to this story, in my personal opinion. Yeah, great build for sure. But do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the ruse? Do you want to talk about the ruse?
So if you want to call it a ruse, I want to call it more of an homage or a tribute because
it was
AJ
a ruse.
Styles makes this down to the ring. Well, I'm talking about in hindsight of everything.
Yeah.
When you see the context of what he was doing, AJ Styles makes his way out to the ring with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, which added a lot of realism to it because Anderson, Gallows, and Styles have not really been on the same page ever since AJ Styles returned. So to see Gallows and Anderson out there, it's like, what's going on? And AJ Styles announces that, he's been the phenomenal one for so many years. Maybe he needs to go home and be a phenomenal father. So he's going to retire. Cody Rhodes comes out and
Four
AJ
kids.
Styles says,
4 kids.
All tattooed on his ribs. If you see those numbers on there, those are the dates of when his kids were born.
Yeah.
Styles, our match was a one for the ages. It was a banger. It was a barn burner. They're still talking about it. And I'm here to give you the keys to the kingdom. Cody, being the lovable, dumb babyface that he is, totally falls for it. And then you notice the color of AJ Styles' suit. It's pastel. It's not pink like a certain World's Strongest Man, but it might as well have been. And Styles basically pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. He totally annihilates Cody right then and there. He hits a Styles Clash off the steel steps, and he says, I got a lot of gas left in the tank. Very reminiscent of Mark Henry fooling everybody in 2013 when he came out there, started crying, said that daddy's coming home. John Cena raised his hand, gave him the title, and Mark Henry, World's Strongest, slammed him through the mat, said, I got a lot of gas left in the tank. It's one of my favorite moments from that era. It was probably the best moment of 2013, if we're being perfectly honest.
Best
Styles.
Yeah, best moment of Mark Henry's career, I think. The most memorable moment of Mark Henry's career. I will sit on that hill and I will die on that hill. That's the best thing Mark Henry's ever done. Brilliant.
So yeah, Styles taking an homage from the World's Strongest Man. So that really got Cody Rhodes fired up. He comes to the ring next week and he says, fine, you want your title match? You got it, but it's not going to be a wrestling match this time. It's going to be an I Quit match. And
fuck yeah, it is.
SmackDown. I didn't watch SmackDown last night, but AJ Styles cut a scathing promo on Cody Rhodes saying, you quit Ring of Honor, you quit New Japan. Hell, you even went out and started your own wrestling company and you quit there too. I'm going to have no troubles making you say I quit. The build was really good. I thought the match was very good.
It was excellent.
I thought it was very good. But as we get into the match, I couldn't help but feel it was a little formulaic. Like you could kind of see where they were going near the third act of the match. When a certain sequence started, I was like, okay, this kind of, I don't want to say it went from being creative to uncreative, but there were some spots where I'm like, I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, kind of see how this is going to end. I just want to see how they're going to execute it. But that doesn't change the fact that this was an excellent match. And right off the bat, through the brawling, they go to the backstage area. And I kind of got like, a little intrigued. Like, I want to see how far they were going to go there. You know, they made their way to Gorilla. They can't choke in WWE, so AJ Styles puts the belt in Cody's mouth and kind of like gags him that way. They make their way out to the ring, and I thought the spots around the ring and in the ring were pretty good. I thought these two had amazing heat with each other, and they were playing off of each other very well. It's also very important to point out that Mama Rhodes has made her return. She made the trip to Scotland to watch her baby boy wrestle, and the minute I saw her, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Michelle Rhodes. Michelle Rhodes.
What a beast.
Yeah, she is a beast. And AJ constantly got in her face, and AJ was saying stuff along the lines of, look at this. Look at your son now, Mama Rhodes. Look at your son. Yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect, Mama Rhodes.
I wish AJ Styles did that. It would have made me laugh.
Well, no. Okay, hold on. I got to start over. Well, look at this, Mama Rhodes. Look at this. I had to get the southern drawl in there this time, but
they weren't.
Anyway,
they weren't in Chicago, so we couldn't say, "Look at your hero now, Chicago."
No. I mean, well, you never know. AJ Styles could be clueless as to where he is right now. He could have just said Chicago. He's not our truth. Yeah, you're right. As usual,
he would have said they were in London. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. Wade Barrett's on the call tonight.
Yes.
We have a three-man booth of Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Wade Barrett.
I've been waiting for Wade Barrett to get an opportunity to call a main roster pay-per-view like this, and I'm so happy he got this chance. Good call.
Also,
good call.
Triple H trolling him so bad. Like, yep, Wade, you're going to be on the pay-per-view, the one in Scotland.
Lordy Lord. The crowd is chanting, "We want tables." This is the obligatory thing when you have an extreme stipulation attached to any sort of match. Cody goes for a table. Especially in WWE. They do it in AEW as well, but
well, here's the thing, and I think I've brought this up before, and it's not a problem, especially because it's still good. You're always going to see the tables. You're always going to see the kendo sticks. You're always going to see the steel chairs. You're always going to see the barricade spot. You're always going to see the announce table spot. Not in every match, but those are like your cornerstones of a typical WWE street fight, no disqualification match. So the tables were going to come out, and that didn't surprise me whatsoever.
Yes.
But I loved the sequences these guys had in this match. Like, there were some excellent sequences. Like, we didn't get an announce table spot per se, but we got a fucking brain buster on top of the announce table.
Oh, that was nasty, wasn't it? Yeah, he also hit an attitude adjustment onto the table as well, which I thought was a great homage to one of AJ's greatest rivals of all time. It should also be noted that this crowd in Scotland, first of all, this is where you really notice that the crowd came to play tonight. Ren Geekness was absolutely right. They were there for vengeance. They wanted to prove that they were the best overseas crowd, better than France. I don't know.
But they weren't. They were great.
Yeah, they were awesome. They were awesome. I think France got you guys, man. I don't know what it is, but I think France got you. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but in any regard, it should be noted that this is unlike France. This crowd was 1,000% behind Cody Rhodes. There were "fuck you, AJ" chants while he was beating Cody Rhodes up on the outside, and I never thought it would live to see the day that the crowd would turn on AJ Styles like this.
Well, he's a heel.
Yeah. He is a heel. Kayfabe is alive, my friends. Kayfabe is very much alive.
And in that spot, I loved even more. They started chanting that, and AJ Styles looked at the crowd and said, "Fuck you too." Love it. Love that they're letting these guys be a little grittier. You can definitely tell WWE is always going to have their practices, and I think they're very safe practices. But I'm glad that Triple H is allowing them to be a little more gritty. This isn't and I know. This isn't a fuck AEW moment, but don't say curse words just for the sake of saying curse words. Make the curse words mean something.
And to that point, this is a message specifically to AEW and Jon Moxley. Don't bleed unless you need to. This match absolutely warranted having blood, and to my pleasant surprise, I sound like a freaking heathen saying this, but Cody Rhodes started bleeding. Cody gigged in this match. What was your reaction when you saw color?
Shocked, and that's what blood should do to a wrestling fan. It should shock you. You shouldn't expect it. You shouldn't, you shouldn't become jaded to it. And that's what, I'm not going to say, Jon Moxley specifically. That's how he's made me feel for blood. Jaded. I see it, I'm like, so fucking what? You bleed every week. I want to be shocked when I see blood. Back to that in the curse word thing. In the great words of CM Punk, there is no such thing as a bad word, only bad intention. So make the blood mean something, make the swear words mean something, or the fans are going to become jaded to it. I know a lot of us remember the ECW days where that was a constant thing, but that's when it was new. That's when it was fresh, but the blood still meant something. If I see, I don't know, who's Shinsuke Nakamura versus Giovanni Vinci on an episode of SmackDown, I don't need to see blood in that match.
No.
Styles fooled Cody and beat him senseless, and now he's pissed, and AJ Styles is desperate to win this championship. That warrants blood.
A personal grudge match like this over a belt absolutely warrants blood, 100%. AJ was dominating a good chunk of the first half of this match. Cody was the valiant babyface, of course, the American Nightmare fighting up from underneath. AJ, this is what I love about the I Quit match, man. Like, he's constantly asking the referee, ask him, say he quits, and just hearing the wrestler's response when they're asked if they quit. Cody Rhodes might have been the most professional-minded wrestler in an I Quit match of all time, because Dan Angler puts the microphone up to his face and he says, absolutely not!
That was the most polite response to it. I quit. It literally, I immediately thought of King of the Ring. I'm sorry. Like, Cody,
I'm sorry.
He's not a mean person.
He's not. He can't be a mean person. That's why I want to meet him at WrestleMania. They're like, I have not heard of one person who has had a bad experience meeting Cody Rhodes. Like,
he could have said screw you. He could have swatted the microphone out of the way. He said, honestly, I was waiting for him to say no, thank you, next time he was asked. But there was a great spot with the figure four leg lock where AJ Styles had to drag himself out of the ring to break it up. And then once the beatdown started, there was a kendo stick beatdown. Cody wouldn't quit. AJ Styles rips the belt off of the referee, starts whipping him. When the commentators, I thought to myself immediately, like, well, Cody is used to this. And Corey Graves said, oh, yeah, that reminds you of a certain tribal boss. And I thought, no, I was actually thinking of the MJF angle.
Yeah, I was
just that Cody had to receive from MJF.
I was thinking of the MJF angle as well. Like, and that was a weight belt that Rocky was using on him. And might I add, you want to talk about like the polar opposite of Cody Rhodes being polite. AJ Styles is ripping this belt off of this poor referee. Imagine if this referee's drawers dropped in the middle of the match. Like,
it's something that happens a lot that nobody has really pointed out. I've noticed it back in the Ruthless Aggression era where they would take the belt off the timekeeper. And I'm just like, you're really just going to reach towards that man's crotch and rip his belt off? And the poor man just has to sit there and not do anything about it?
Yes.
Or I've seen instances where they'll go up to the timekeeper like, give me your belt. I'm like, fuck, no. No, I always wear a belt. Like, you're going to take this from me? Are you going to give it back? Probably not.
I will say I feel naked without a belt. I feel like I always have to wear a belt. So,
sir, that costs $12 at Target. You better go get me another one.
Give me another belt. So Cody is asked if he quits, and he says, no, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir. No, he doesn't say that.
Apologize too. No, I'm sorry. I raised my voice at you. I did not mean to do that.
No, please forgive me. I didn't mean to do that. I did mean to say, I don't quit. I cannot quit. I won't quit.
Referee, please don't stop the match.
Cody, I love Cody.
Manners take you a very long way, let me tell you.
Yeah.
There was a spot that I don't think AJ Styles deserved heat for. So when he's whipping him with the belt, again, reminder, they cannot choke in WWE. So he has to awkwardly wrap the belt around Cody's head, but it keeps slipping off. So AJ Styles just goes to an FTF instead, and they started chanting "You fucked up" at him, and I'm just like, I don't think he deserves that chant because he can't choke.
Yeah, well,
Like, come on, cut the guy some slack.
Well, someone else probably deserved that chant later on in the show, but with that said,
no.
Yeah, so AJ Styles goes out to ringside to talk more trash to Mama Rhodes. Mama Rhodes, Michelle Rhodes, bless her heart, she's sitting there and she's like, you're yapping too much, go fight him. And AJ says, this is all your fault. I'm like, why is it her fault? Why is it her fault?
You see a family member in the audience, you have to go talk shit to them. They're not doing anything, they're minding their own business, but the heel, it's like one of those brain impulses. They see it like, I got it. Why?
This is also, AJ Styles also in canon is a dumber heel than Finn Balor is. Because if you remember, the last I Quit match we've seen under Triple H's regime was at Extreme Rules 2022 between Adam Copeland and Finn Balor. What they did was they were attacking Adam Copeland's wife, Beth Phoenix. The Judgment Day was holding Copeland back, and he basically had to save his wife. He had no choice but to quit. You remember that. You remember how much it tore you apart.
Absolutely. And, if this was way down the line in Cody's, you bring up a really good point, because if Styles was really that desperate and he really wanted to win this match, he would have sent Gallows and Anderson out there to grab Mama Rhodes, throw her in the ring, and threaten to hit her with the steel chair. Or put her in Magic Killer position and be like, Cody, it's either your title or your mom. That would have really put Cody in a bad spot. But I get why they didn't do that, but when you look at it in hindsight, it's like, why didn't Styles do that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cody also is probably not losing this title until the end of the calendar year, so I don't want to say they booked themselves into a corner by bringing Mama Rhodes to Scotland, but I just feel
honestly,
like
she probably just said she was going to be at the show, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll use you. But as the beatdown continues and Cody Rhodes is looking in a really bad spot, he's been beaten with the steel chair, he's been beaten with the kendo stick, he's been beaten with the belt. Oh, I love this spot. AJ Styles goes out to the ring and he pulls out a black bag, and I thought, they're not doing thumbtacks, are they? And it's like AJ Styles heard me through the screen, because he looks at the audience and goes, oh, I know what you guys are thinking, but no, I have something way more interesting in here.
I have something way more interesting.
He's actually pretty good at it.
AJ is probably one of the most underrated trash talkers in the history of the business. He
really is.
His ad-libs are so funny during these matches. I think back to the Boneyard match even. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Please don't bury me. Please don't bury me.
Again, when he's losing, don't bury me. When he's winning, let me bury him.
Oh, come on, kid. You put up a hell of a fight. You're calling AJ Styles, a man who was born in the 70s, a kid in the year 2020. Yeah. Come on.
So Styles pulls out handcuffs, and he proceeds to handcuff Cody Rhodes. The beatdown continues, and I'm thinking at this point,
the crowd, I must not forget, the crowd also proceeds to chant kinky bastard at AJ Styles for using the handcuffs.
Damn, I did not hear that.
Yeah. Oh, I heard it. I heard it loud and clear. Good job, Ren, if you were a part of that chant.
So this is where probably the drama was at its highest, because I'm like, damn, how is Cody going to get out of this? Cody still won't quit. Styles then goes back out to Mama Rhodes to talk more trash, and I'm not going to give Mama Rhodes crap for this, but she was supposed to slap the shit out of him. She whiffed the first one, but then she made up for it because she slapped AJ Styles like 4 times in a row.
Yep.
And when Styles finally got away from that, Cody is able, these are some long handcuffs, by the way. He's able to slip out of them, but he's able to, what was the spot he used to get the keys? Okay. I remember now. So AJ Styles goes back in the ring. He clearly doesn't see that Cody Rhodes had, it's clear as day that Cody Rhodes has gotten the handcuffs in front of him, and he goes for a steel chair. And I'm like, how are you not seeing the chair? But Styles wraps the chain around his forearm. Poor guy. He was having a bad night because he couldn't get the chain tucked into his elbow pad. So he was going for a phenomenal forearm with the steel chain. And Cody Rhodes throws the chair at Styles' face. And AJ Styles has this amazing ability to control his body any which way in midair.
This was so clean.
He hits Styles with the chair. He wobbles off the top rope, but he's able to spin himself so he can do a backflip through the table that was set up on the outside.
It's so fucking clean.
How he does it.
Fucking
Anybody
perfect.
else would have just slipped off the top rope and fell in the ring, but no, he wobbled a little, and then he just somersaulted in the table. It reminded me of AJ Styles' first appearance in WWE. He was in the Royal Rumble, and he took a sick back body drop from Ryback, and people were saying, "Oh, fuck, that looks stiff." I'm like, nope, AJ Styles just really knows how to take a bump, and he really knows how to contort his body to make it look damn good.
Make it look devastating as well. In the words of the French crowd from Backlash, il est vraiment phénoménal. That's all I gotta say. So with that said, AJ also Pillmanized Cody Rhodes at one point in this match. You remember that?
Yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, I was very shocked that Cody, while handcuffed, was Pillmanized, and there was no blood coming out of the mouth like you'd see in 2004. Yeah, Cody was just selling the neck, and then the referee asks him if he quits, and then he's like, I must respectfully decline the opportunity to quit. Yeah, so yeah, something like that.
Not AJ Styles, he's saying, "Hell no." At one point, he says, "Screw you, Cody." It's like, gosh, so rude.
Fuck you, Cody. Fuck you.
Yeah. So after the table spot, that's where Cody Rhodes, he gets the key and he takes himself off the handcuffs and no more fucking around. He grabs AJ Styles, throws him in the ring, and he handcuffs him to the ropes.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, this is where the fun really begins. And he grabs a steel chair. He beats the fuck out of Styles with the steel chair. A pretty convincing beatdown. And that's where AJ Styles says, "Screw you, Cody." And then Cody Rhodes goes for the steel steps. He threatens to hit Styles with the steps, and that's enough to make AJ Styles quit.
You know, now that you say that and thinking more and more about it, yes, this is the more anticlimactic version of John Cena giving Batista the attitude adjustment through those cars at Over the Limit. AJ basically is, well, even more so. John Cena threatening to hit JBL with the fucking big...
The exhaust pipe, yeah.
The exhaust pipe, yeah, thank you. I was looking for the words. Like, putting JBL through the plate glass at Judgment Day. JBL quit before Cena could do it, but Cena did it anyway. This was a lot more tame version of that.
It really was.
I feel like if they really wanted to go this route, have a more devastating weapon than the steel stairs. Like, we see steel stairs happen all the fucking time. Like,
exactly. And if that's AJ Styles' kryptonite, well, then he really wasn't trying that hard. Like, I know you can't go too extreme. You can't threaten. You can't bring in a staple gun. You can't light a 2x4 on fire. You can't do anything. So
why not?
Get it.
You can do that. You can do that.
Even like in today's WWE, you don't see stuff like that. And I feel like Cody Rhodes wouldn't go that extreme. But, I just felt the finish wasn't great. I still love the match. I still love everything up into this point. You're right. The finish was just very anticlimactic. So with that being said, Cody Rhodes retains the title. I'm going to give this 4 stars because I thought it was still very enjoyable. I thought these two clicked together very well. The story was great. I love Mama Rhodes getting interfering, getting involved. And yeah, everything was fine just up into that finish. So it's like, yeah, and then Cody Rhodes does it anyway, and it's like, so what? AJ Styles, you could have stripped that off. Maybe it'd be different. I don't know. Maybe if you put I don't know if AJ Styles has any nagging injuries. He could have put the steel chair in between his ankle maybe and be like, Styles, if you ever want to walk again, I'm going to smash the steel steps repeatedly until your ankle is nothing.
Until you quit.
Like that.
Yeah. It didn't feel as brutal of an ending as the John Cena JBL match that we've talked about before. Certainly didn't feel as emotionally grounded as Edge versus Finn Balor. This just felt like, okay, Cody Rhodes retains. And I mean, I'm sure everybody and their grandmother Rhodes was predicting Cody to win this thing because in my mind, Cody's not dropping this belt until end of 2024 at the very earliest. Like, you got to give him
title. That would have been great.
I'd love to see AJ as WWE champion again, but Cody just beat Roman at WrestleMania. Roman was holding the fucking title for 4 years. So AJ,
so that equates to 4 months.
You're killing me here. All that being said, I love this match. Not as much as the Backlash match. I'm giving this 4.25 stars. Could have been a touch more brutal, I think, towards the end. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. This was my favorite match on this show, believe it or not.
And it was the longest.
Yeah, 28 minutes. Yeah, crazy. Crazy, right? But
so yeah, I was just gonna say, well, what's next for Cody when Cody's making us up the ramp? I love this shot too because Solo Sikoa, he just walks out all casually and he's standing next to Cody Rhodes, and I'm like, Cody's gonna have a fucking heart attack. He's gonna have PTSD just looking at Solo Sikoa. And Cody notices him. It's like, the fuck are you doing here? Tama Tonga and Tongaloa make their way out. They start beating down Cody. I'm like, well, the bloodline, the story is still going. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens come out to make the save. And it looks like we have ourselves a little 6-man tag team match coming up, playa, the continuation of Cody versus the bloodline. And I know what people are thinking. We're already going back to that. Well, on one hand, yes, I get that. But on the other hand, the bloodline has been going through its own storyline on SmackDown. It makes sense because I feel like both parties aren't really doing anything now. Yeah. Cody's not going to run it back with AJ Styles again. And the bloodline, other than the King of the Ring stuff, you know, yeah, they have their development with Paul Heyman and, you know, the Roman Reigns stuff, but they need something in ring to keep them busy for a bit. And I can see where they're going with this.
Yeah, poor Kevin Owens, first of all. It's been 4 years, and he's still fucking fighting the bloodline. This guy's going to be wrestling these blokes until the end of his career. At this rate, you know, I don't know if Kevin Owens is ever going to get out of this bloodline rivalry.
Also, props to Randy Orton for coming out in full gear.
Right? Yeah.
Dude, that's what he stepped in.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got to show off his jacked 275-pound physique. He's got to show that off at any chance he gets. Also, funny you mentioned Randy Orton, because after Orton and Owens help fight off the rest of the bloodline, they're just on the stage with Cody. They're basically presenting him as the guy. There was a little interesting Easter egg. I don't know if anybody noticed the way Randy was looking at the WWE Championship on the shoulder of his former protege. Probably more to come later this year. Cody versus Randy, probably happening at some point soon.
Subtly planting those seeds now.
I mean,
also, I really like in Triple H's booking. He's not a fucking idiot. He knows the internet exists. He knows what everyone's talking about. It's like, okay, if you're just going to predict my booking, I'm going to do it in the most unpredictable way ever. Like, yes, the outcome's going to be predictable, but you're not going to know how it's going to start. It's not going to be formulaic per se. It's not going to be, oh, this wrestler comes out and cuts a promo and calls out the other wrestler, and boom, we have a match. It's different. Pro wrestling has been around for so long. I like that, you know, there's still ways to surprise us.
Funny you mentioned that, considering what the main event is and that outcome. But yeah, really, really great start to the show, and nice teases for Cody's future. Probably the next few months going into the fall. Still probably going to be the WWE champion by the end of it. That's what I'm predicting, but we shall see what happens there. Now, this next match, Tomas. I don't know. I don't even know where to start.
I thought it was great.
You thought it was great? Well, what do we have?
Triple threat tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. You have the hometown girls, Alba, Fyre, and Isla Dawn, taking on Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark, and the champions, Bianca, Belair, and Jade Cargill. Before we get into the build for this match, it was reported, I think it was a week ago, that Alba Fyre's mother passed away in a tragic accident. That sucks. The entire pro wrestling world is with Alba Fyre right now. And the fact that she still wanted to wrestle, respect. So much respect for Alba Fyre.
She's a fucking warrior. Fucking warrior, man.
And, you know, to not pass up the opportunity to wrestle in her homeland is pretty freaking cool. They cut this really great video package on Fyre and Dawn prior to the show, just chronicling, you know, where they're from and how much this means. That's all fine and dandy. It just sucks that it took them coming to Scotland for WWE to give a damn about these two, because they've been called up to the main roster for quite a few months now, and I feel like they just showed up out of nowhere.
Longer than that.
Yeah, like, they're both really good. Alba Fyre is the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion in history, and Isla Dawn, ever since they've formed this unholy union, they've been pretty good, so why would you not want to feature them some more?
I think they've been on the main roster for a year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they unified the NXT and WWE Women's Tag Team titles.
Yep. Yeah, so that was it.
It's a shame that it took this long, but I want to see them do more. And I don't want to say break up the team, but I would love to see Alba Fyre go for some singles gold.
I'd love that. But she's in this weird tag team right now. It's like voodoo undertones. Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark. That's a random ass tag team, isn't it?
They've come together pretty well, in my opinion. But how do we get to this? How do we get to a triple threat match?
Honestly, I just figured, okay, Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark won a number one contenders match, and they haven't gotten a shot at the tag titles. And to my understanding, they kind of threw in Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn because they're from Scotland and they just needed, more people on the show.
Kayfabe wise, they did get their tag team title shot on Raw, and Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn ruined it for them.
That's
so
right.
They kind of just
Thank
inserted
you.
themselves that way, so it became a triple threat tag team match. This was better than I thought it was going to be.
It was all right.
There were some great sequences here. Everyone was great in this match. I think Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill have excellent chemistry together as a tag team. They are gelling together so well. It is, as Bianca Belair gotten bigger, like even more muscular.
Well, maybe it's also
already was.
Maybe it's also because of the spikes that she had in her braid, which Corey Graves compared to the Road Warriors for some reason, when it's patently obvious because of this pay-per-view, Bianca was making herself look like a fucking dragon in there. Like, those are dragon scales. Yes.
The Road Warriors, my favorite tag team, Animal and Heidenreich.
Oh, man, I'm sweating in here. Can somebody give me a fucking towel? Somebody give me a fucking towel? He doesn't have a towel.
Good, you know what? The crowd was really into this too. So
They were.
I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought there were some good sequences. Especially the ending sequence I thought was pretty good. Fine. Let's acknowledge the elephant in the room now. Yes, Jade Cargill tripped over the top rope when she got the hot tag.
Yeah.
So what?
It looked horrible.
So what?
It was horrible.
Not one botch ruins an entire match.
Well, no, it wasn't just that botch. It was also she was in the Kirifuda clutch. And listen, I would not make a big deal out of this if the announcers just didn't say anything about this. But
I'm glad the announcers did.
It looked like Jade Cargill tapped out to Shayna Baszler in the Kirifuda clutch. And Michael Cole was like, did Jade Cargill just tap out? And I'm like, I don't know. Did she? Did she?
If you're in a submission hold, you need to be very careful about your hand movements. And I think it was very warranted that it got called out. I've always made the joke when I was a kid. What if a wrestler was in a submission hold and they wanted to hype out the crowd, so they just started slamming the mat? If I was a referee, it's like, you're fucking tapping out. Bring the belt.
Yeah. Well, it's also because, like, their placement for Bianca Belair's 450 splash was very off, I thought, because Bianca does the 450. It's beautiful. And she hits Shayna right in the back, right with the fucking knees. And I'm just sitting there like, you could have just moved over like a couple more inches, and it would have been a perfect 450. Like, just little.
That, but maybe they were just they weren't. I mean, the submission kind of just fell where it did, so they didn't really have time to adjust. They weren't going to pull a Mia Yim and just blatantly put themselves in a position like last week at Battleground. And I get that though. I really enjoyed the finish. So Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill's finish is kind of like an elevated DDT, while Cargill hits the DDT and then Belair, no, other way around. Belair hits the DDT and then Cargill hits a German suplex. They execute that and then
hit it on Shayna.
They hit it on Baszler, and then Alba Fyre comes in, throws Cargill out and gets the pin. Hits a German suplex on Jade Cargill, and she got the pin. And I'm not going to lie, I popped for that.
I did too.
I like Fyre and Dawn a lot.
Absolutely the right call, especially in Scotland. Considering a couple other matches that we were going to get and the results that they were going to have, this was much needed for a feel-good moment. Alba and Isla were presented flowers by their family in the front row for winning the titles. It felt like, not to get too personal for a second, but it almost felt like, when your family goes to watch you in a theatrical production and sometimes they'll give you like a big bouquet for a job well done and a great performance. That's what it kind of made me feel like. And, Alba Fyre's boyfriend was there and they were having a very touching, heartfelt moment together. Yes. Alba Fyre absolutely, after hearing the unfortunate news about her mother, I'm like, how do you make her lose this match at this point? Like,
I just hope now that this wasn't just a give the homeland girls their flowers, literally, which, deservedly so. I want to see them more featured after this. Don't take the titles off of them on Raw Monday. Don't give them like a shitty 3-week reign. I get the tag team titles do jump around a lot, especially this one kind of shocked me because considering it's Cargill and Belair, I would thought they would hold the titles a little longer. But it's the women tag team titles, and I feel like no reign goes over 3 months. But after this run, I want to see them do more. Mm-hmm. They can still be a unit, but Alba Fyre can go for the women's championship. I would kill for an Alba Fyre Rhea Ripley match. I think they are really
That
underestimating
would be awesome.
what this girl could do. They feuded in NXT UK. One of my favorite NXT UK matches of all time is Piper Niven, Alba Fyre, and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. Oh,
it wasn't Rhea Ripley. It was Toni Storm.
Oh, was it? Yeah, no, it was Toni Storm. Yeah, because Rhea Ripley was like on regular NXT by that point, I think.
Yeah.
If my memory serves me right. But
So,
I'm gonna
use Alba Fyre.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this match 2 3/4. I don't know. I didn't like this as much as the Backlash match. You know what my big problem with this was, and it might be a bit tedious to hear me say this. This is a triple threat contest. There are no DQs. So why the F are these dummies tagging in and out? It doesn't fucking matter.
Because, yes, it does, because there still need to be 2 legal people in the ring.
There's 3
Nobody
legal
can just
people,
pin
though.
Anybody. There still needs to be legal people then. You can't just pin whoever.
So what happens
That would
if
be Bedlam.
Okay, yeah, well, I'd rather have Bedlam, and it would be a more fun match that way. And then you also
wouldn't be so coherent, because what if 3 ladies pin other 3 ladies at the same time? You still need to have legal people in the ring.
Because it also saves you from a very botchy hot tag from Jade Cargill that killed the match for me. That's.
I mean, I get it, but it wasn't like a match winner for me. I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought it was very good.
Whoa. 3.5. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
It was better than it had any right being. And the crowd was really into it, and I really enjoyed seeing Dawn and Fyre win. And I didn't realize how much I loved it until it happened.
I'm with you. The first half of the match I thought was extremely solid in the ring, but I'm sorry, when you put Jade Cargill on as high of a pedestal as you've put her since day freaking one in this company, you can't, and send her over to the Performance Center for more seasoning. I get it. It's a huge botch. And everybody, I see a lot of people on Twitter are saying, oh yeah, you should send Jade Cargill back to the PC. No, I think that's a little bit too much. But when you're under the microscope like this, you can't make huge glaring mistakes like that. So Jade Cargill.
It just sucks because I do like Jade Cargill.
Me too.
Think she has a ton of potential.
Me too.
But Fyre, Dawn, Belair, Baszler, and even Stark,
yeah,
all outclass her and have to do a majority of the heavy lifting. I don't want to say it's sad, but it's just like,
yeah. How crazy is that? I have had my fair share to say about Zoey Stark and how I thought that she was the female Sin Cara because of how much she botches even. Zoey Stark was totally fine in this match. Zoey Stark honestly was on it.
Because
I'm a fair guy.
The system now for over a year with the main roster, and I feel like, you know what? I'm going to say it. Jade Cargill needed NXT.
Yep.
She really needed it.
Yep. Yeah, because here's the key difference. Zoey Stark was called up to the main roster, but she doesn't have this gigantic spotlight and a fucking awesome entrance to come along with her. She doesn't have a Storm is Coming gimmick. She doesn't have, any of the glitz and the glamour that Jade Cargill had. So when you bring her in, when you bring Jade Cargill in, and you're pushing her as, the next big thing in the women's division, I better fucking see that. And I've been seeing it. I've been seeing it for the most part, but tonight was an off night. I'm a fair guy.
Okay. Don't take what I'm saying out of context when I say this. Jade Cargill, in presentation and booking, especially in AEW, I'm going to say, in AEW, she was booked as the female Goldberg.
Yeah, of course.
Except a million times better and with a 1,000,000% more potential. So
of course.
WWE picked her up. And you know what? I think on a more accurate sense, she could be the female Big Show. So WWE picked her up. And, look at the people she worked with in AEW. Chris Statlander, Sky Blue, Red Velvet, a lot of enhancement talent per se. Then you put her in WWE, and you're putting her in WWE with a lot of sharks. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Piper Niven. I'll even say Nia Jax.
Yeah.
And she honestly is at the point where she needs to sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
Presentation, awesome. Ring presence, awesome. pairing her up with Bianca Belair was probably the best thing for her career because I'm seeing improvements in the ring. But she either needs to be on the same level or better than a lot of the ladies on the roster because it's not fair if they're going to strap a rocket to her if she's not showing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Well said.
And that's my 2 cents on Jade Cargill.
Yeah, I think we'll just leave it at that for right now. But honestly, as critics, we have to be constructive about it. When people have great nights, they have great nights, and we're going to point that out, and we're going to praise them for it. When they have off nights, we're going to point it out. You know? Yeah. That's the nature of it.
We love most of these wrestlers at the end of the day. I'm not saying Jade Cargill should get fired and,
no,
she has no business in a WWE ring. I think Jade Cargill has all the potential in the world.
Yeah.
I just want her to start realizing that potential.
I'm with you. And she is, in my opinion, booking-wise for her career, much better fit in WWE. And for where she wants to take her career and her mainstream appeal, WWE is where it's at. She wasn't going to get that with Tony Khan. Tony Khan was going to...
Tony Khan's booking of her was just very one-dimensional. She was in a box in a league of her own, and she was not allowed to go anywhere near, like, the Women's World Championship, for example.
Nope.
And then I even thought, I don't even like the way her undefeated streak ending was booked. I didn't like that. I didn't like Chris Stanlander just coming out and challenging her on the spot. What gave her the right to do that? It was dumb. So dumb. I wanted to see it happen on a grander scale. And maybe that has to do with the fact that she was on her way out anyway, and they had to quickly get the title off of her. But, it's just like she was so confounded in a box of her own that now she's in WWE. I feel like sky should be the limit for her.
Sky should be the limit. We'll see where this pairing with Bianca Belair goes. I honestly thought that they would keep the tag titles on them through the rest of the year just to protect Jade Cargill a little bit more.
At least until SummerSlam.
At least. Yeah, but honestly, give Alba, Fyre, and Isla Dawn the hometown moment because they absolutely deserved it. But yeah, matches.
I would like.
Go ahead.
I would like to see a 2-on-2 rematch like on SmackDown, just so Jade Cargill get a little bit more rub working with them. But now I'm a little nervous because now what do you do with them? It's too early to start the feud.
Yeah,
do not want
way too early
for the women's championship.
I don't want to see Jade Cargill go on her own at least for another year. It's put up or shut up time, basically. If you're going to be on that high of a pedestal, I better see, I better see that you're the best woman wrestler in the world. And, if you're going to be on that high of a pedestal. So, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, up next, we got a good one here. For the Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn defending against Chad Gable. Chad Gable receiving his half-dozenth Intercontinental title match just in the past year. What a freaking story this was. Raw is freaking loaded with great long-term storytelling. You're talking about the Punk McIntyre feud that's ongoing. You're talking about Liv Morgan prying her way into the Judgment Day as the Women's World Champion, kissing Dirty Dom, which is freaking insane as it is.
Some guys have all the luck.
I know. And then you have this. Honestly, the Alpha Academy storyline on Raw might be my personal favorite. Chad Gable is constantly scolding his students. He's talking about how the Academy is a family, but he's constantly trying to get Otis and Maxine Dupree to cheat for him. Akira Tozawa to a lesser extent. Tozawa was oddly absent from the show. I don't know if he had travel visa issues or what the deal was, but Chad Gable comes out.
Actually, on the pre-show, they were interviewing Chad Gable and Maxine Dupree and Otis. And they pointed that out, and Gable just said Tozawa's going to get it on Monday. And I feel like with the booking near the end of the match, the first thing I said was Tozawa was see, I knew this would happen. That's why I didn't come.
Yeah.
I decided to just.
But in reality, it might be because Tozawa has travel visa issues. I don't know. But, Sami Zayn, incredibly over in Scotland. Honestly, if I'm really thinking about it, on a technical note, this was the best wrestled match on the show. I don't think it was my favorite match on the show, aside from the I Quit match. But this was still damn good technical wrestling. There were points where Chad Gable was locking in the ankle lock continuously on Sami Zayn. I'm thinking, you're a dumb heel. Have you not watched any of the Kurt Angle tapes or the Kurt Angle footage on the network? He always grapevines that shit. He always grapevines it, and that's game over for your opponent.
Chad Gable's submission game was on point tonight.
It was absolutely. Chad Gable's technical game is always on point.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about this match, the in-ring stuff was great. I really enjoyed this match. I don't know if I put it on par or better than the one they had on Raw when Chad Gable did turn heel for the first time. But
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Chad Gable was hugging Sami Zayn from behind and he tripped. He didn't turn heel. He didn't turn heel.
But the big thing that really added to this match and really got the crowd into it was Otis on the outside.
Yes.
They wanted Otis. They wanted Otis to finally turn on Chad Gable. And he was technically the third man in this match. I love that it has been 4 years. And even though Vince McMahon ruined Otis, let's be real, he ruined Otis. He took everything that made Otis got over when there was no audience. Can you believe that? He was at the peak of him being over when there was no audience. He still had, so much sympathy towards him. And over those 4 years, I feel like Otis has been working extremely hard to get back to this position. And it just warms my heart to see he is still organically over with the crowd.
Yeah, and the fact that he gets to work with his shoot best friend on a big program like this, because correct me if I'm wrong, Otis and Chad Gable are actually best friends in real life since like 2015. So the fact that they're getting to work on this program,
they're clicking so well together is great.
Oh, it's so fucking great.
And I love that Maxine Dupree is getting involved, and I feel like she's getting over with the crowd too, because I heard some Maxine chants out there. That's why I think, I hate to say this, I just don't think Maxine Dupree should focus on being in the ring, and she should focus more on being an outside character. Because she's really good at gaining sympathy. Again, you look at her and you want to cheer for her. She has spunk. She has energy. How can you not smile when she's in the ring? How can you not smile when she hits a move and she's proud of herself?
She really is like a Stacy Keibler for the new generation in more ways than one.
She is.
It's like a babyface version of the Duchess of Dudleyville. If you want to really get really technical about it. Speaking of technicality, Sami Zayn and Chad Gable were exchanging crippler crossfaces in the ring, which made me very uncomfortable.
Just crossfaces.
No, they were crippler crossfaces is what they were. Chad Gable hit the diving headbutt. What's your defense to that?
We don't talk about him. That's my defense.
Of course we don't. But you don't hit all of his moves and not expect me to at least address it. You know what? I can't even say they were paying homage to Dynamite Kid because Dynamite Kid's no better. So no, fuck him. Fuck him. Yeah. So this match, again, great near falls close to the finish. Sami Zayn was hitting all of his greatest hits. Crowd was chanting along and singing songs for Sami Zayn. He was doing the Michinoku driver. He was doing, I don't know if he hit the Blue Thunder Bomb in this, but where this match gets interesting is where they start brawling on the outside. Gable obsessively grabs the Intercontinental title like he's Gollum or something. He hands it to Maxine Dupree. Sami Zayn is in the 619 position on the ropes. Chad Gable is admonishing the official, and he's distracting the official so that Maxine Dupree can smack him with the belt. So this, this was, honestly, it's such a different approach, and I like this approach.
It is, because
I love it.
I got scared for a second. I was like, oh shit, is Maxine Dupree really gonna do this? I thought she was for a second, and look at Otis's cadence. If this was a month ago, he probably would have grabbed the title and said, no, I'm going to do it. But no, he was very concerned that Maxine Dupree was going to go through with it, but she doesn't do it. Chad Gable starts scolding her, and this was the moment of the match. He gets right up in her face, and then Otis just slides through. Big brother style, and just no, you've gone too far this time. Well, get away from her right now.
Even before that, Chad Gable and Maxine Dupree are standing in one corner of the ring. Sami Zayn is selling his ankle, and he somehow runs all the way across the ring, going for a haluva kick on Chad Gable. Chad moves out of the way, and Sami almost hits Maxine on accident with the haluva kick.
Yes.
He's like, are you okay? He's pulling his best Cody Rhodes impression. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I didn't mean to do that.
Let's just say, when it comes to the cadence of Zayn and Otis, if I were a woman, I would want them to walk me to my car. They're the perfect people to do that. But Otis gets up in Gable's face and says, leave her alone. And then as he's turning to check on Maxine Dupree, Sami Zayn comes up from behind, and Gable's able to reverse something. I forget what the sequence was.
No, you know what it was? Chad had Sami draped over the barricade with another ankle lock.
Yeah.
Another ankle lock. Sami rolls through.
Go for a suicide dive?
No, I don't think so. Sami just rolls through the ankle lock. Chad Gable rolls through, and it almost looks like the timing of this also had to be key. And everybody was in the exact right position.
There was a spot where when Otis was there with Zayn, like about to hit him,
Gable hit a moonsault.
Gable hit a moonsault. Was that before or after all this?
It might have been after, or I don't know. But regardless,
what you're about to talk about goes into the finish. But I know they hit a moonsault because Otis took the bullet for Gable. He took a move from Zayn.
He did. No, it was a suicide dive. You're right. You're right.
He hit a suicide dive, and then Gable hit them. And it's crazy because Zayn hit the suicide dive, and he was checking on Otis, and he felt bad. Notice how Gable goes for the moonsault. He doesn't give a fuck if he hits Otis.
Yeah, does not give a flying fuck. Sami was checking on his friend. Yeah.
Because Gable rolled back in the ring, went for another moonsault. Zayn countered it, went for the haluva kick, or I think an exploder in the corner. Or there was some sort of sequence there. But yes, the spot that you were talking about, it was timed perfectly because Gable hits a chop block on Maxine, and I gasped.
Yeah.
I'm like, you fucking fucker. Her bad leg too, her bad ankle.
I'm sure it was an accident though. I mean, Chad Gable wouldn't actually do that. No, but honestly, no, you're right. Chad Gable hits a chop block, and let's not forget, Maxine Dupree is walking around with a big gigantic boot on. Like, this boot is about the size of Big Show's boot. And Chad Gable chop blocked her right in the bad leg, and Otis is finally set off. Otis is just looking at Chad Gable. The crowd really wants Otis to pull the trigger. And, Chad Gable basically is sitting there calling him a coward. Otis can't bring himself to hit his best friend. So what does he do? Checks on Maxine Dupree, picks her up just like he picked up Mandy Rose 4 years ago, starts walking her to the back to get her medical attention. Chad Gable he's like, where are all my homies at? Chad Gable's looking around, and then Sami Zayn, say it, Tomas, say it. Go ahead.
Nails the haluva kick, and that is one hell of a kick to finish off this match.
Yeah.
Win to retain the Intercontinental title. I was in the minority, but this was the right call.
Yeah.
Because for a couple of reasons. Number one, the story. The story does not finish if Chad Gable wins the title. He wins the title, Alpha Academy has no reason to leave him. And call me a stickler, call me biased, but Sami Zayn just won this title. Who did he win it from? Gunta, the longest reigning champion of all time.
Yeah.
I did not want to see him drop it 3 months after. I get it would have made sense for the story. I get it's a little nonsensical to make Gable lose again for the Intercontinental title. But it just feels right for Zayn to keep the title. It would have been just so deflating for Zayn to go through that whole story arc at WrestleMania. For him to drop it here, I don't want to be that guy and say, oh, title changes can only happen at WrestleMania at SummerSlam, but at least SummerSlam.
So does Chad Gable not beat Sami Zayn for the IC title? Because I got this match wrong. I predicted Gable to win the belt with the help of the Creed brothers, because everybody is pitching a new team angle like a trio on Monday Night Raw, with Chad Gable leading the Creed brothers and ditching Otis and Maxine. I don't know. I mean, my first thought, because honestly, I don't really have any desire to see Chad Gable beat Sami Zayn now. Because of this victory. Maybe they have one more match at Money in the Bank. I don't know, but
I will say Money in the Bank. Here's my idea: you either put Zayn in Money in the Bank, or have him defend against an entirely new opponent at Money in the Bank, maybe Bronson Reed. Come back to this around SummerSlam, and I want Gable and Zayn 2 out of 3 falls. I do not know how you get there. I don't know. Maybe Gable. I know Gable just signed a new deal with WWE, but maybe he did. Put his job on the line or something. Do something where Zayn has to give him a title shot, one more title shot, and then that's where you do it. 2 out of 3 fall style.
Or maybe Chad Gable just doesn't win the Intercontinental Championship at all, which seems cruel to think about since Gable re-signed not too long ago.
It seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, but if you want to have Sami Zayn hold the title like through the fall, my pitch is actually for Sami to lose the title to Braun Breaker eventually. Because look at this. Braun Breaker is running roughshod over everybody right now. Just wrote Ricochet off of television and sending Ricochet off to AEW. So
Maybe.
No, Ricochet's going over there to wrestle Will Ospreay.
It's not confirmed.
Yeah, Braun Breaker fucking kills Ricochet on TV. He's been running roughshod. He's undefeated. So fuck it. Might as well put some title on him if you don't want to put the world title on him right away. Braun Breaker
is going to get some gold around his waist. It's just that I just feel like this one's interesting now because even though I wanted Zayn to win, I do understand that how do you justify giving him another title shot?
Gable, you mean?
Is going to be different. Yeah, Gable. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
But I still feel like it's doable. And we will see. Because the Alpha Academy storyline is not over yet. I do firmly believe in the Creed brothers joining up with Chad Gable. It's just we need that big payoff with Otis first.
We do. Yeah. Maybe they do Otis and Gable in some sort of grudge match. Maybe it's SummerSlam. I don't know. Again, time will tell.
I still think this ends with Gable with the Intercontinental Championship. How do you get there is going to be interesting.
It is going to be very interesting. I'm giving this match 4 stars, though. I thought this was excellent pro wrestling. Great storytelling on the outside. Not much to complain about here. I might have liked this more than the triple threat with Bronson Reed.
I did. I gave this 3 3/4 stars because, not going to lie, my full attention wasn't on the match as I was watching it, but I still really enjoyed what I saw in ring and storyline wise. This was a really good match.
Really good.
The next match is very, very simple in execution, but I'm really happy that this happened on here. Another hometown girl, Piper Niven, challenging Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. Did Piper Niven win a match or something, or did she just come out and say,
I don't think so.
You, we're in my hometown. I'm getting a title shot.
I don't think so. I think it was just a case of Chelsea Green was annoying the hell out of Bayley, and Piper Niven attacked Bayley, and that's how we got this match. Very bare bones of a build.
As much as I love Niven and Green as a tag team, I actually prefer this Niven and Green being her manager. Green being her mouthpiece is just so good.
I wouldn't be opposed to that, even though Chelsea Green is great in the ring. Honestly,
I'm not saying Chelsea Green stops wrestling, but I love Chelsea Green being her mouthpiece.
So
I love this alliance. This alliance has grown on me. It's crazy because this was an accidental pairing. It was supposed to be Chelsea Green and Carmella. Then it turned into Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. And then it turned into Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, which felt very thrown together. But the longer they stay together, they've been gelling together very well. It's been
they're funny.
Over a year.
They're funny. And honestly, it's not so much an issue with this match, but it was just something that I noticed. Because Bayley and Piper Niven together did have very good chemistry. I really appreciated the innovation in Bayley's offense to cater to an opponent like Piper Niven with Piper Niven's build.
Hey, Zach, are you ready to do the drop?
Would you be intimidated by a woman named Do Drop?
I kind of missed the theme song, not going to lie.
No, fuck off. Fuck off. No, we're not doing that.
In all seriousness, I like how Piper Niven got this opportunity. She's another one. I get why, kind of, but she should be a bigger deal.
Yeah, she should be a bigger deal because what I'm going to remember the most about this match on this night right here, Chelsea Green on the outside as the manager. She was fucking hilarious. And honestly,
she was dressed like a little Scottish girl. I thought
she
that was cute. I
like
how she came to support her bestie. The friendship is real. Her and Michael Cole during the pre-show were fucking hilarious because they were just going at each other. And Michael Cole goes, "Don't you have somewhere else to be?" She goes, "No, I actually have all the time in the world." And Cole's like, "Okay, well, we're moving on. Bye.
We're moving on.
Good luck tonight. All right, shoot.
Get the fuck out of here."
Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea Green does not come out wearing antlers, so of course he doesn't give a fuck, Of course he doesn't give a fuck. Chelsea is constantly interfering on the outside. She's trying to distract Bayley. She's trying to distract the referee. Bayley has had enough very early on. She stomps on Chelsea Green's hands. Chelsea Green is getting in Little Nate's face, which is something that you do not want to do. She is shoving because Bayley. She broke my hand. man. It was so fucking funny. Charles Robinson
bops his head.
No, she like shoves him. She shoves him.
Yeah.
Charles Robinson just looks at her.
It's not even like an aggressive shove. It's just like
yeah.
It's like bugging the shit out of him.
Charles like
hard to put up with this. Oh, I can think of a few reasons why.
She was hitting the Santino Cobra on Charles Robinson. Yeah, that's what it looked like. But Charles Robinson doesn't even think twice about it. He looks at her. You're out of here. He sends her to the back, and the crowd starts singing "Na na na na, hey!" And I'm like, "Yes, thank you for bringing that
Chelsea
song back."
Chelsea Green is a fucking national treasure.
Yeah,
and
she broke my hand.
I want her on my TV screen all the time.
Dare I say she's funnier than Billie Kay?
I was just gonna say, you know what my dream trio is?
Oh,
Chelsea
no.
Green, the Iconics.
I mean, that's just my sides would hurt too much from them being split because of laughter. So Chelsea Green makes her way to the back, which forces Bayley and Piper Niven to have a very solid women's wrestling match. There were some really cool spots. There was a point where Piper Niven hit a what's her move called again? Like, what's her move called? Pick up the near fall.
The Piper Driver.
The Piper Driver. Yep. Yeah, she hit the Piper Driver for a very close 2.
I also really like that Michael Cole acknowledged that her name used to be Viper when she started out.
Yeah. She's got the venom of a viper.
No, not even that. She straight up said in Scotland she wrestled under the name Viper.
You know, if they bring back the mixed match challenge, they would be doing a disservice if they didn't pair her with Randy Orton, Team Viper,
and called them the Vipers.
No, they're just Team Viper. That's all they are.
I don't keep missing mixed match challenge, man.
Yeah, the mixed match challenge was very fun. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Michinoku Driver. She also gives Bayley a boss man slam. A boss man slam as well, which Corey Graves basically describes this as into the abyss.
Nice.
He's a producer now. But
black
another
hole slam. Then
it is a black hole slam, exactly. But it's a boss man slam as well. Ray Traylor used it. There's also this is where it gets really fucking ridiculous. So they're wrestling along. They're having a nice little match. And then all of a sudden, Chelsea Green runs back out. But this is honestly, like, I wasn't as pissed off about this as Sammy Guevara running down to a match where he was barred from ringside, and it was clearly him.
Let me tell you, she's a freaking jerk. She snuck into Rey Mysterio's locker room and stole one of his masks.
What was Ray even doing there? He's on Raw. Ray's not even on the card. I know.
What a freaking jerk she is, because she runs down wearing one of Ray's masks, and I'm just sitting there thinking, like, you really think this is going to work? And in my mind, I'm like, that's what makes it funny. That in Chelsea Green's mind, she thinks this is going to work.
Yes, it's Charles Robinson's like, what are you doing here? And she's trying to pass it off like she's a different woman. Wade Barrett is like, who is this masked woman? Like, it's a completely different person.
She finally made her return after like 6 years.
Would you be intimidated by a woman named Luchadora?
Yeah, sure.
Would you be intimidated by a woman named Dora the Explorer?
Becky Lynch is probably really upset right now because Chelsea Green's stealing her gimmick.
Yeah, she is. I also saw Dominic Mysterio tweet something with a picture of Chelsea Green that said, nope, still not a deadbeat dad. You're not a deadbeat dad, Chelsea.
Yikes.
Yeah, well, Bayley makes her come back.
Did you see the Judgment Day's Clubhouse on Monday? They had a little Rey Mysterio action figure with a sign that said, hi, I'm a deadbeat dad.
No, I was too busy looking at the hotel key Easter eggs and Finn Balor stealing the hotel room key for himself. I mean,
don't you wish you had that hotel room key?
Well, I mean, I can't. No, I can't outright say this. I'm a very, very happily partnered man. But yeah.
No, just kidding.
Wow. Hold on a second. Yeah, but Bayley makes her comeback. She hits a marvelous looking Bayley to belly, avalanche Bayley to belly on Piper, which was, man, earth shattering if you ask me. And she also hits. She can't hit the rose plant on Piper Niven, so she decides to roll her up with a crucifix pin. She beats Piper Niven in 13 minutes.
Let me tell you this right now: crucifix bomb. That's how you fucking do a roll up finish. because it's an actual move.
Yeah, well, she still rolled her up and pinned her.
The crucifix bomb.
Yeah, she still rolled her up and pinned her, though.
Did you not hear what I just said? I said, that's how you do a roll-up finish.
I know, but she still rolled her up and pinned her.
Yeah.
You should be pissed off at this.
It was an actual fucking move.
Yeah.
Can I also point out that this is the third women's championship match Piper Niven has been in on pay-per-view, and they've all been good.
Yeah, this was solid.
Was very good. What was the other one she had? Wasn't against Mercedes Moné, was it? Rhea Ripley. She wrestled Rhea Ripley, didn't she?
I don't remember. I honestly can't remember off the top. What?
But they've all been solid.
They have been. Piper Niven's great. I'm giving this 3.5 stars. Really, really solid women's match. Yeah. I didn't like this as much as the Backlash triple threat with Naomi and Tiffany, but this was still really darn good. Piper Niven should not be overlooked. No. Bayley's offense in this match was super innovative. I mean, again, I feel like the right person went over because it does look like they're building to Bayley versus Nia Jax at SummerSlam, but putting Bayley over... Huh?
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Continue Piper Niven's momentum. Put her in Money in the Bank.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I mean, she's not going to win because Tiffany Stratton's going to win, but...
she could.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, Piper Niven should be in the ladder match, I think. I mean, it's an opponent, I think, to help build Bayley up for a similarly built opponent like Nia Jax. So I think that's why this match was made. But
also, don't get me wrong. Even though I've been a little nicer than Nia Jax, I still think Piper Niven is a better quality opponent.
Oh yeah. No question about it. I really
hope they have a good match at SummerSlam. I really do.
I'm hoping. I'm not counting on it though. I'm not counting on
Piper Niven more. When it comes to my lady hosses, I will take Piper Niven any day of the week.
Yes. Yeah, me too. Speaking of Money in the Bank, they did air a commercial, and it felt like it was straight out of The Incredibles. It was so awesome. It really felt like, oh yeah, this is the heist of the summer, taking place in Toronto. They have the Incredibles style cartoons of the bank robbers holding the Money in the Bank briefcases, and I'm like, that's a sick marketing ploy, WWE. Good on you.
It should have been Spy versus Spy. Good on you. I would have marked out for that.
It should have been, but it's a heist.
Could you imagine if WWE got partnered with Spy versus Spy to do a Money in the Bank animation? That'd be so cool.
Could you imagine if WWE partnered with Robert Rodriguez and got Spy Kids animations for Money in the Bank?
No, thank you. No,
thank you. Yeah,
thank you.
Because they'd look like shit. I said it. They'd look like shit.
They would.
But
and then you'll complain about your dream journal getting ruined, and we don't want to get into that right now.
Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled.
I've seen terrible edits of that scene, and I'm not repeating it on the screen. But why is that scene a meme?
Oh, I don't know why that's a scene a meme. As usual, this podcast has gone off the rails, Tomas. 4 years strong, and
we usually go on these tangents when we don't want to talk about what's on the show, but we do want to talk about what's on the show. So I don't know what happened there.
I don't know. I just had to point out that the Money in the Bank commercial was awesome, and it somehow developed into a Shark Boy and Lava Girl quote session.
And I just wanted to talk about Spy versus Spy. What's wrong with that? I'm never going to talk about Spy versus Spy.
Well, we can talk about the main event here. Damian Priest, El Campeon, defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Scotland's own Drew McIntyre. Absolutely no way they do Drew dirty twice. No? At Clash at the Castle? Absolutely no shot. No shot.
Before we get into that,
yeah,
the build here is actually pretty simple as well. Drew McIntyre is still going on about how he was screwed out of the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. So he said he never got his rematch. So him and Damian Priest agreed to it. And of course, it's at Clash of the Castle. And Drew McIntyre is going into this match with all the confidence in the world, as he should. He's in his hometown. It's not in Wales this time. It is in Scotland. He knows he's going to have the entire country of Scotland, having his back during this. And Priest, as a champion, is kind of going into this as the underdog. No one thinks he's going to win. And the Judgment Day was banned from ringside because McIntyre beat Finn Balor in a match on Raw. It's a very simple build, but I think it was good because I think Drew McIntyre is just on his fucking game. His promo game is so strong, and Priest is no slouch either. So I think with the very little build they had, it was fine. I was hyped for this. Also, I was hyped for the unpredictability of this match, and those are my favorite kind of matches.
This whole entire pay-per-view felt unpredictable. I got the majority of my predictions wrong, but I think that keeps things fresh. What's up?
5 for 5. I predicted this pay-per-view perfectly.
Oh, sure you did. I'm sure you did. That's super debatable. Super debatable.
We have the screenshots. I have the screenshots to prove it.
You have the receipts. Well, at least there was a title change. At least there was a title change tonight, so at least it felt a little bit more eventful.
Okay, fine. I'll admit I was wrong. I was wrong in a tag title match, but I was very proud of myself predicting this main event right.
Good job. So Drew McIntyre, because he's winning this match, surely is making his entrance with a humongous band of bagpipes, and they're playing him out. He comes out to his normal WWE theme song, not Broken Dreams, which I'm sure disappointed a lot of people that night. But
not me.
You think Broken Dreams is overrated?
I do.
Oh, I mean, you just don't know what good Jim Johnston music is then.
But aggressive bagpipes.
Damn right.
I gotta say, aggressive bagpipes.
What a fucking atmosphere for this entrance, too. I mean, the whole crowd was singing, "Oh, Drew McIntyre," just like they did in Wales. So,
can we talk about the little sound meter they had?
Yeah, let's talk about it. This
is WWE stroking themselves big time. They were like, "Hell yeah, we're gonna ride this wave." They had a meter that was measuring the sound in the arena because France was so fucking loud that they had to issue a warning to everybody living around, like, just to let you know, it's going to be really fucking loud if you live near the arena. So WWE took that and they ran with it, and they have a little sound meter now. And again, proof was right there. They were not as loud as France, but during this entrance, I was like, I almost changed my prediction because I'm like, holy fuck, he has to.
Like, how do you not have him win? Damian Priest,
and we'll get into it.
Yeah, I mean, amazing atmosphere for Drew. He looked like he was so excited to be there. Also, well wishes out to his wife Caitlin, who had to go through emergency surgery. He wrote a little K initial on one of his wrist tapes so that she is always there with him. I'm thinking, like, this is a classic Rocky II style narrative. Drew McIntyre wins the belt. His wife is at home watching, and that Rocky Balboa won the belt, and Adrian was at home recovering from a coma that she was in. So yeah.
I loved the booking of this match so much because here's the thing: McIntyre's in his homeland, so he's the de facto babyface.
Yes,
and he was playing into that. You know, the minute he came out, there was a kid holding a sign that says, "Sign here, champ." He marched right over there and he did it. He was slapping hands with fans.
Yeah.
I like how McIntyre was dipping into the babyface pool, but not totally deviating from the heel gimmick. It's just that he's getting cheered. He's got to, embrace that.
You know what this is?
Damian Priest.
You know what this is?
What?
This is Bret Hart from 1997 because he was a douchebag heel in the States. But anytime they went over to Canada, Canadian Stampede in your house, one of the best in your house pay-per-views of all time, Bret was welcomed like a folk hero. And and Bret was so good that he was able to turn his game in Canada and he was able to be the likable babyface. But again, to your point, like Drew did tonight, he never deviated from what was making his character so great and so compelling in the moment. And
it's
Drew
not
was
like
great.
Snap a finger, he's back in 2022. It wasn't like that whatsoever.
Yeah.
But Damian Priest, he took this opportunity so well. He knew he was going to get booed. But Damian Priest is a heel. So fucking bring it. He went out there and he embraced the hate like a champ.
He is a heel. He is a heel that is on the precipices of a babyface turn, though. Because where this Judgment Day feud is going, Damian Priest is very much like a modern Batista. Dare I say, better in the ring than Batista ever was. All due respect. I mean, because I love Big Dave, but Damian Priest has so much skill.
Love that Damian Priest just like in the moment, like he's still a heel, so embraced it. I thought he handled it very well.
It felt to me. Go ahead.
Damian Priest deserves so much credit for this match.
Yeah,
so much credit.
It felt to me like a Money in the Bank 2011 atmosphere. Ironically enough, Drew McIntyre coming into his homeland. Damian Priest goes in there completely focused as the champion, just looking to get the job done. This was a really good house fight. I was taken out of this match very early on when Damian Priest goes for that flip dive that he does off the ropes to the outside. It's always so majestic when he does it. But tonight, for whatever reason, he fucking slips. And Damian Priest's ankle gets caught in the ropes, and he is tied up upside down. It looks like he landed on his fucking head. I yelled. I thought I saw a man just die and get paralyzed right in front of me. But
I saw that, and I just go, that fucking sucks.
Mhm.
Because I'm surprised they replayed it. But when you look at it, you could clearly tell it was an accident. I don't know. Maybe there was jitters, because this is his first main event of a pay-per-view as champion.
maybe.
Because the first thing I thought about was how we talked about Armageddon and how beautifully timed that spot was. But here I was like, that's just a shitty coincidence.
Took
And
me
you could
out.
tell.
Took me out of it. I was worried for Priest's health, but he finished the match. I mean, he was.
But I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, he's good, right? And
Dude,
like, those
look
are
at. Did
thick cables.
you see how he landed though? Like it looked like when he flipped over, like he trips and it looked like his head hit the apron. Like go back and watch it.
Though, but
It looks like
but
it.
no, I wasn't that. I knew he was fine. It just like I felt bad because like this fucking sucks. Like,
It does suck. It does
I hope
suck.
he's not hurt for real. I was more concerned for his ankle. But I think Priest really took this as an opportunity to turn a negative into a positive. Because once he got out of it, he did a great job of selling the ankle. Because I was looking at it, I'm like, fuck, this might ruin the rest of the match. But no, he was just totally in selling mode.
Dare I say that Damian Priest is the MVP of this pay-per-view for gutting it out, if that is a legit injury?
And when apparently Drew McIntyre went up to him to like, just to get like instruction, and Priest said, no, I'm good. So that's why McIntyre was able to sell it a little more. Like you could see in the beginning, McIntyre was like, you good? Like, what do I do? So he went over there to like help, and Priest's like, no, I'm good. So McIntyre quickly went back into work mode. And I was scared it was going to affect the rest of the match, but I don't think it did. I think Priest toughed it out very well.
Yeah. This was a very gutsy performance from El Campeon. I mean, if I wasn't as big of a fan as I am of Damian Priest and as big of a believer as I am in Damian Priest, tonight would have made me a believer for sure. And if you guys were not believing in Damian Priest since he became the world champ at WrestleMania, I hope tonight made you believe. I'm glad you guys are starting to come around now. This was just a really physical main event title match. Drew hits a future shock pretty early on, which surprised me because, as they would say in PWG, that's his finishing maneuver. Good near falls.
In WWE, that's the move that injured CM Punk.
Yep, it is. It is, yeah. Good thing CM Punk didn't show up tonight, right? Because it was supposed to be one-on-one. Damian Priest also hits a razor's edge on one foot while he's hopping around. That's a first. Very impressive that he was able to do that because Drew McIntyre is a very large man, and Damian Priest, he's delivering it on one foot while he's selling the ankle. It's just, awesome.
There were some good close calls, too, like a kick out from the South of Heaven chokeslam. Drew McIntyre hits Claymore number 1, and Damian Priest kicks out. When he hits the second Claymore, he hit flushed right on the cheek.
Like he hit one of those Claymores and the camera zoomed out to show the whole crowd standing up. And I was like, this is it. This is the finish. I screamed when Priest kicked out. I was like, man.
Yeah.
Man,
there were some good near falls in this match. But what was the referee's name? Eddie Arango? Yep. I love this referee so much because he dodges a ref bump. And he damn near jumped out of the ring. Like, he leapt over the top rope. I'm like, that's the smartest ref I've ever seen before in my life. He saw it coming, and he got the hell out of Dodge.
Got out of Dodge, yep.
He got the hell out of Dodge. But then he gets back up on the rope, and it looked very believable because back in the ring, he got knocked off the apron, and he fucking flew into the
props to Eddie Arango. He took a legit bump on this barricade. And
this ref knows how to bump. He made me my new favorite referee.
I wonder if this guy was ever a wrestler before becoming a referee. I wonder.
All referees have to be trained in wrestling so they can take these bumps.
They have to. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, Chris Lash would know that. But, great near falls off the Claymores. Priest also hits a top rope Frankensteiner on one leg. Like,
Oh, yeah, that was the lead into that nasty ass Claymore where he hit him flush.
Jesus. Yeah, no, that was super impressive.
But after the referee goes down, McIntyre hits another Claymore. He goes for the pin. The crowd counts to 20, and this is by far the greatest camera shot I have ever seen in my life. They zoom out. You see another referee come through, and they have this weird angle from the backside, completely covering his face. And I'm like,
yeah.
that's interesting. 1, 2. And the minute I hit 2, I go, fuck, that's CM Punk.
Yep,
the count stops, and they show CM Punk, and he just goes, and I'm like, this motherfucker.
He's a troll. He's a troll if I ever saw one.
Motherfucker.
It's kind of a double entendre if you think about it, because he's showing Drew that it was just a 2 count, when in reality, this little troll stops the count because he doesn't like Drew McIntyre. He holds up the 2, but it also means F you in the British Isles. So
I love that.
It's double entendre there.
Love
Genius.
That.
Yeah.
McIntyre gets up. He is furious. He puts his hands literally around Punk's throat.
Where's the
Punk
DQ?
Fights out. Punk's not a referee. He's dressed like one.
Yeah.
He's impersonating one.
Yeah.
He kicks McIntyre right in the dick, and he leaves. And Priest hits a South Side of Heaven chokeslam. And I sat there. I go, is this really the finish? 1, 2, 3. And I was like, I wasn't mad. I was like, wow.
Triple H has some massive balls to have Drew lose again in his homeland this time because of CM Punk. And even then, Punk is such a troll because he's standing there and you still have like 3 CM Punk fans in the front row who are like, hugging him and they're clapping him on the back in Drew's homeland. I'm sitting there like, this guy, I was talking for months and months now about how AJ Styles might be the hater of the year for screwing LA Knight at the Elimination Chamber. Punk might have just beaten AJ for hater of the year because this motherfucker, if you think about it, takes a gigantic plane ride over the Atlantic Ocean, all the way over to Scotland, just for this spot to fuck with his rival.
And here's
Genius.
the thing. Punk didn't need to do this.
No!
He's a man of his word. He said, as long as I am breathing, I am going to make sure you are never champion. And if this was, the players are perfect in this scenario, because if this was anybody else, if you sent another top babyface out there like a Sami Zayn or I think that's the best example I can come with, or a Cody Rhodes, that'd be stupid, because why are you going to have the fans turn on your biggest babyface? CM Punk is not a babyface. He is the definition of an anti-hero. So It made sense for him to go in there and fuck Drew McIntyre over in his homeland. And it was just so beautifully done. And look, I get it. McIntyre losing in his hometown, that sucks for the second time.
It does.
But this adds gas to the feud.
It does add gas to the feud. I don't know if this is the way I would have done it. I liked the idea of Punk being the referee. I also liked the idea of Drew winning in Scotland. So my initial thought was Punk being the referee and accidentally costing Damian Priest the match and being the reason that Drew won the belt. But honestly, this way,
Punk would never.
Yeah, Punk would never.
Pinfall with like Shawn Michaels and Mick Foley to Triple H. Punk would never. He would never in a million years. And here's the thing. Yeah, I honestly think the sacrifices to make this happen are going to pay off in the end, because you cannot sit there and tell me Drew McIntyre is not going to get his comeuppance by the end of this. I know he's the heel, but look at everything. First of all, now you cannot convince me that Drew McIntyre is not winning Money in the Bank. He has to. And considering Punk and the status of his career, I don't think Punk has any business winning this feud.
No.
Punk's going to have so many other feuds down the line, maybe a few titles in his future. But this initial feud, I think, considering now that Punk has so much leverage over McIntyre in the troll-off, McIntyre has to win.
Yeah, McIntyre should, and I think will win this feud. How long it lasts, I'm unsure. Honestly, I was hoping that they could drag out the McIntyre Punk stuff until Mania when Seth Rollins comes back into the picture. Not saying that you can't do Drew and Punk one-on-one, because that is a money feud going into the fall. I just have to wait to see where it goes. I don't know if I necessarily agree with Drew winning Money in the Bank either, because he has constantly gone on record as to saying he hates that fucking briefcase and he wants nothing to do with it. So I feel like him winning the briefcase goes very against his whole character.
He could totally be a hypocrite, though. He's a heel.
He could be a hypocrite. He could be a hypocrite, but time will tell. Time will tell. I don't see the field of Money in the Bank participants yet, so I can't make a prediction right now. But I'm not saying that's too far out of the question. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, the only prediction I can make, well, there's two. Damian Priest versus Gunther looks like a foregone conclusion at SummerSlam, and it looks like Gunther is beating a babyface Priest for the belt. Drew and Punk looks like a money feud going on Monday Night Raw, probably culminating in Hell in a Cell, maybe at the rumored Bad Blood return pay-per-view. But
also, speaking of that, there was a post show.
There was.
Punk crashed the show, and he brought donuts. Gotta love the character development. He wasn't offering anyone muffins at the AEW scrum, and the first thing he says, "Do you want one?" But somebody did ask Punk at the press conference, you know, where does this go with Drew McIntyre? People were saying right out of the gate, this needs to be Hell in a Cell. And Punk said, no, I'm not doing Hell in a Cell. I'm not doing a ladder. I want to beat this man with my bare fists.
Yeah, and specifically, he did say, oh, yeah, I've had it with this fantasy booking shit. Like, that's what he said. And also, one of my favorite lines that he dropped, he was like, well, I flew over to Scotland. I wanted to see the sights, but I also was cleared only for refereeing. And he said, I don't know. It just seems like my refereeing skills were not up to snuff tonight. There was a bit of a snafu. He's referring to the intentional stopping the 3 count for Drew McIntyre. But
he also said he's going to the doctor on Monday to see if he's cleared. I think he's full of shit. I think he's been cleared this entire time, but they wanted to hold it off a little more so they could. We're getting Punk and McIntyre at SummerSlam. That is the grudge match of the summer right there.
Yep. I can't wait.
They're just going to make it official this week. Apparently, SmackDown's in Chicago, which, again, Punk's not a SmackDown, but whatever. Guess I'll let it go.
Might as well.
Highlights, skip that segment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was very risky doing this, but I think the payoff is going to be very much worth it because I just love the more gas you add to this feud, the better the grudge match is going to be. Because if McIntyre would have won the title, you know, he would have just had something to rub in CM Punk's face. But the fact, here's how I look at it now. CM Punk is the Bugs Bunny to Drew McIntyre's Elmer Fudd.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, that's totally what it is. Or the Roadrunner to the Wile E. Coyote, however you want to put it. Like, it's very cartoonish if you think about it that way. I mean,
but it's my favorite feud in WWE right now.
Yeah. Oh, same here. In the moment, I was thinking, I don't really know if I liked Drew losing in Scotland. That seems like a very Vince McMahon move to have the hometown hero losing. But again, talking more and more about it, I'm compelled to see where this goes. I'm really compelled to see where this goes.
Michael Cole even said it himself. Drew McIntyre is going to fucking lose it. And Monday Night Raw is must-watch TV. And it is. Yep. Every single wrestling fan is going to tune into Raw to see Drew McIntyre have a fucking meltdown. Yeah. You thought his meltdown after WrestleMania was bad? It's going to be worse.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to demand that CM Punk come out. And, you know, again, I can't wait for Monday. Not something I would say about WWE a lot 10 years ago. But, before we forget, this match gets 4 stars. I really enjoyed this Hoss fight. The Damian Priest injury scare took me out of the match for a little bit. But, I mean, I think they recovered beautifully. Damian Priest deserves all the flowers in the world for selling the injury like he did. I hope he's not legit injured. But, yeah.
From what I'm hearing,
really enjoyed it. But, yeah.
I was going to give this 3.5. But talking about the match made me realize Damian Priest's performance just really impressed me. So it's getting 3 3/4. It was a very solid match, very good main event. I think both men handled the circumstances very well. And yeah, like you said, it was good.
Yeah, really good match to cap off a good show. What are your overall thoughts?
8 out of 10. This was a very solid show.
8 out of 10 for me as well. Solid 8, better than King of the Ring. Not as good as Backlash in my opinion. It might have felt more eventful than Backlash in hindsight, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know if it was the environment in France that made it feel better, or the Cody Rhodes AJ Styles masterclass of a main event that made it feel better, but yeah.
It was probably both of those, honestly.
Yeah, not as good as the original Clash at the Castle, in my opinion. I mean...
Oh, no, that show had Gunther and Sheamus on it.
Yeah. There's I don't know if there's going to be any match of the year candidates on this one. Cody and AJ in the I Quit match was awesome, but it wasn't the best I Quit match I've ever seen in my life. But this was a really fun show. Look forward to our review of Money in the Bank on July 6th and NXT Heatwave the next day after. Royal Rumble 2006 is also in the pipeline in our retro. You want to go from a really solid show to a really shitty show? Well, this is where it's at. This is where it's at, my friends.
Yeah. And of course, AEW Forbidden Door is 2 weeks from this weekend.
June 30th?
So, yeah. So we will be getting to that one as well. It's probably going to be a later review, but we will be getting to that as well.
A lot of wrestling to discuss over here on the channel. I'm also talking all things cinema over here. Join us if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that thumbs up as well if you enjoyed what you heard today. Tomas, happy 4 years. It's going to be another fun, bumpy road on the road to WrestleMania 41. Another trip in the docket here. So
hell yeah.
It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun, folks. Take care. See you guys in the next one.